Okay, recording's gone. Going now. All right. Yeah. So last time we talked about needing to more clearly define when you actually need to kite. And then right now, like your downtime is too high.
Mm.
At least back then, based on like your perceived need to run away. So a lot of it was practicing deathmatch, kind of just getting used to kind of figuring out where your effective range is versus like the entire cast. Um, and then obviously to continue to thinking about positioning before the fight starts. But back when we did our second session, you were already pretty good at finding like a starting position when there were no stressors. But improving at big takeaway number one, figuring out when you need to kite is going to help you do that when there are stressors. That's kind of what we focused on last time. So how are we feeling we're doing in general, not just in this VOD, but in general with the big takeaways?
In general, I'm definitely doing like a lot better, or at least a little bit better than I did before. Like at least I'm being aware of like how close am I to this hero or something, or when should I
Mm-hmm.
use coach or dynamite or something, or
Mm-hmm.
like when should I start kiting before they even get to me, like once I
Mm-hmm.
hear them.
Yeah, that's right. And did you feel that like the deathmatch one-on-one practice that we did briefly, did you feel like that helped you a little bit or
Oh yeah, I feel like I've been getting like a lot more reps
good?
just in general, and it's allowed me to like kind of apply things a little bit more in actual matches while still being able to practice it at the same time in matches as well.
Good, cool. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we kind of start looking at the gameplay here, or like
um,
any updates,
this one
questions?
specifically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Uh, Other than the fact that like I felt like I struggled with like still kiting too much, and there was a lot of downtime in this one as well.
Okay.
There was a widow that was just like rocking our shit, and I just
Mm,
I think that was one of the reasons why I was kiting a lot because I tried to like figure out where she was a lot of the time and stay out of her sight lines. But I feel like I should have tried peeking her just to see, even if I got shot. I definitely like wasn't as confident against her. She's
okay.
definitely one of the characters that scares me the most.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, if there's like a widow that's dominating a lobby, especially in like the lower elos, it just feels like there's nothing you can do about it, and I definitely feel that. Like, I definitely get where you're coming from.
Hmm.
Okay. So we'll take a look at that. Is there anything else like outside of this game that you wanted to bring up?
Oh,
Any questions or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think we've talked about a lot of stuff that I kind of had problems with, at least recently.
Okay. Cool. So let me just get the stream started for you then. Actually, there we go. Okay. So,
Oh yeah, I did. Go on. I just did a really stupid thing, Symmetra at the beginning.
oh yeah. So the whole Symmetro rollout thing is only really useful for like Koth maps or Clash or what's the other one? Flashpoint. You know what I mean?
Oh,
For
gotcha.
for
Yeah.
like payload and hybrid, you don't really need to you don't really need to do
Oh,
much of
From
okay.
it.
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
imperfection, we
Yeah.
build a new world.
I think I tried using it, but no one saw it, and they just ran right by it. I
Yeah,
just stood
that
there.
that'll also happen, especially in the lower
Hello.
elos.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Five,
Okay.
four, three,
Okay, that makes
two,
sense. Yeah, the payload's like literally right
one.
there.
Attackers incoming.
I was just like, oh,
Tango in sight.
This is a kind of unfortunate because now it just puts you out of the fight for a little longer.
yeah.
I'm the last one you'll ever
So
Had
we're
to at
already
least try.
playing off.
Careful, we're
Yeah,
outnumbered.
they rocked our shit like almost this
Yeah.
whole match.
Okay. So this is kind of like I'm assuming this is part of the downtime you're kind of referring to, right? But
Kind of, yeah.
before the downtime was due to you running away,
Yeah.
but this is like due to like the opposite almost, like it's just inaction. You know what I mean? So here, like, let's talk about obviously, like, we don't know. Okay, we don't know where Widow is, right? Where can
Mm.
we like assume Widow might be though? Like
I
as we're
thought maybe
coming out
she was up on
here.
that high.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I thought maybe she was up on the high ground where the rat was because my whole team was kind of like in that main lane. But
Like right here in this area.
or that's not rat. That's a soldier. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So that's where my assumption would be too, right? If I haven't heard her shoot in a while, right? As I'm approaching this angle, I would like just quickly check, like check this doorway, check
Okay.
this window right up here, and because you need to clear out these areas first before you start moving ahead. But once those are clear, right, then yeah, the pretty safe assumption would be that she's up here. So if that's the case, right, and we're playing a shorter range hit scan on Ashe, right? what can we do to start shifting that interaction more towards our favor, do you think?
Mhm. Like if she was up on the high ground.
Yeah, let's say, assuming there's a Widowmaker right here. That is a...
Um, I guess if she's by herself, maybe I could go up through the left here, like under that building that goes up to the top. I think.
Sure. That would, like you're saying, like come through here and then all the way up through here.
Yeah, and then like maybe try to close the distance and get
Gotcha.
closer at least.
Yeah. So that would take a long time, and maybe you know, would put you out of the fight for a long time. It also isolates yourself and all that kind of stuff. But I like the idea. I like where you're coming from, right? Because your thought process is to close the distance and play in a shorter range, right? And that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you enter like a certain range, Ashe actually has the benefit, like because it's easier to hit unscoped shots, and you have like full movement, and the Widow's not going to be able to hit a scope shot on you very easily. Okay, so yeah, absolutely, I like where you're coming from. You're trying to close the distance, perfect. If this is maybe not the best way to close the distance, can we think of a better way?
Oh wow, I completely forgot that they added the elevator there. Maybe I could have used that to, like,
yeah,
get up on
there
top.
we go, perfect. So we just come up top here. We have this really nice piece of cover, and then if she's looking here, right, then we can get maybe a free headshot from here, right? So yeah, this is one idea, absolutely. There's another cheeky idea. It's not. It's like it has certain advantages and disadvantages, but there is another option of, instead of going up the elevator, there's a small staircase right here where you can peek from low ground and throw a dynamite. Like right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, either one is going to be better for Ashe. What you don't want to do is, what do you think?
Just like at first I was thinking like run it down main and hide around that building, but then I'd be right in her sight line.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is like maybe not the best, because if we're assuming she's standing here, she's like going to be hard at peeking this already, right? And then what's like the same thing but even worse?
The other idea I had was like coaching onto this like balcony in the very right
Right
and then peeking there.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I thought like, well, then now I'm in like her effective range. So
yeah. So from here, you're like not gonna be able to do anything because she's so far, and but it is at least better than like taking it like a different angle than just main, right? What's like the same thing as main but worse is coming around here, and then peeking from here, because it's the same angle but just even farther. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is at least a different angle, but it's still really, really far. So this is not good either. But these two are going to be the ones you want to do. Does that make sense?
Because I think even at that range, that's when Ashe's damage starts to fall off too, right?
This range or this range?
Just just those longer ranges in the very back.
Yeah, these will all have fall off. This might have. I don't think this will have too much fall off, if any. And this probably won't. But yeah, these will have fall off.
Okay.
But yeah, the idea is like, again, it's not like you have to know what meter distance like the fall off starts.
Yeah, just knowing.
Generally speaking, closer against Widow is better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's the kind of stuff. If we're struggling with Widow, right? That's the kind of stuff we're going to be trying to look for. We're going to be trying to look for those shorter range off angles against Widow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like places where she can't quite see me, but I can pull her attention away and allow my team to kind of like reposition a little bit.
Places where like if she tries to shoot back at you, it's going to be uncomfortable for her to aim because you're that close. Does that make sense?
Hello? They were dead, but I guess not. Hey.
We do take the angle, which is nice, and we don't see Widow. She's there though, so yeah. So if we know they have Widow, right, and we're on like Ashe, Hanzo, Soldier, Widow, Cassidy, right? If we're on any of these like heroes that like to stand and shoot, like the first person we need to be identifying is Widow, right? And honestly, like because she's such a big threat, like pretty much anyone you play, like if they have a Widow, you need to like figure out where she is first. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So instead of just like trying to take angles and go at it on the enemy team, just prioritize maybe trying to find her first.
Yeah, exactly. Just figure out where she is first, and then like use that information to pick your angle. You know what I mean? Because you still want to take angles and all that kind of stuff. It's just if you know, like, had you known that there was a Widow here already, like obviously this peak is already dangerous. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's where she came from? Man, I still couldn't even see her.
Okay. Yeah, so that's like the important thing to try to kind of figure out, right? So as you're peeking this angle, right, you're already peeking multiple places where the Widow could be, And I'll just kind of point it out. So it could be 1, 2, 3, and then actually there's 4 here, like right before you walk to the right to hit this piece of cover, right? So you're already peeking 4 angles where the Widow could potentially one-shot you. I guess this is technically 5 too, but you know, she's usually not gonna play it, right? But yeah. So the idea is like, as you come across to this angle, you want to make sure that you're clearing these one by one. So you peek this, okay, she's not here. Peek this window, okay, she's not here. Sorry, like this, right? Peek this, okay, she's not low ground, and then peek that. Okay, now she's not on all 4. Then I know it's safe to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay, so let's keep going.
Now to show them that I mean business. The payload's just sitting here. Getting moving. Dynamite.
I don't know where my queen's going. I think I was just trying to wait for the rest of my team, but
Yeah. Again, understandable, but as we're waiting for the rest of the team, what can we be doing right now? Like what
could have been
crucial-
finding a better position.
Yeah, sure, but even before, like as we do that, we need what in order to figure out what that better position is?
Figure out where the Widow is.
Yeah, exactly. We just need information, right? So how do we get information? We use our ears. We jiggle peek to check certain sight lines, right? All this kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Because if we had been getting information like already, we would know that the queen is forcing the Widow out of this high ground here, right? So then it's like, oh, okay, so then maybe I can take this elevator, and now I have free high ground here. Does that make sense? Cool.
Not so fast. Personne n'échappe.
Successfully cleared out the entire high ground for you.
Understood.
Enemy here.
Nice. Okay, and then one of the like nice things about like teammates who ping is because like now you know exactly where the Widow is, right? Or maybe not exactly, but like very close to exactly where she is via the ping system. So even though you may not be shooting at Widow, like just like what your Sojourn did, you should try to ping it for your teammates, and vice versa. They should try to ping it for you. And so now we know that where Widow is, right? Like we know that we're on a short range off angle at this point, right? Like if we peek this, right? So what's something that we could do from this position?
I don't even really know. It doesn't really seem like a. I feel like I don't have that much line of sight, to be honest.
Well, I mean, not like right now, right? But as soon as we peek right here, we can maybe throw dynamite. We can peek for headshots even without dynamite, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it like somewhat okay to peek her right now? Hypothetically.
She's not really focused on where I am.
Exactly. She's looking at a different angle, right? She's looking at your Sojourn. So while she's focused on that, you can try to peek her and dynamite her and whatnot. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So here I'm just trying to point out like where the holes in Widow's defense is, because if we have no information and we just like hear Widow like popping off shots and seeing like her populate the kill feed with the headshot symbol, right? It's like very scary, but so it feels like we can't do anything. But it's important to note that she can only shoot one thing at a time. So whenever her attention is being drawn by something else, that's like a window of opportunity. Does that make sense?
Like the whole match, anytime I go against like a Widow on the other team, I always feel like there's something I can do, but I'm never really able to think about like what I can do. I guess.
But does talking about it now make sense?
Yeah, a little bit more, because before this I was always just like trying to find different angles out of her line of sight, which is good, but I never really was able to come up with any more strategies than that. And just most of this match, you'll see that where I'm just like passively wandering around trying to figure out places to go and just being scared.
Alright.
Yeah, that definitely helps. It makes more sense now that you mentioned, or the more you explain it and stuff.
Yep. Here it comes. So that's dynamite. So this is actually like this is a good point, right? Maybe this is because you're too fixated on Widow, but you actually hit a really, really nice dynamite here, right? Because you hit both Sig and Mercy. And notice, or at least you should be like trying to notice, that Widow's not looking at you here. So that means you know it's, at least for the next couple seconds, right, pretty safe to try to scope in and kill some people here, right? So as soon as you hit this dynamite, right, you see that the Mercy's flying in a pretty predictable pattern. So here we'd like to just stay on this angle and try to shoot the Mercy, right? And then look at all this free real estate. Look at all the space of the point they're able to control here, right? Look at all this. Obviously, like, you can't see past the fountain, but like, if you're able to dominate this, right, their whole team can't stay here for very long, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. But we do leave it, I think, to try to figure out where the Widow is.
Sniper spotted.
Okay, now we know exactly where the Widow is, so I like how you're playing around that. Perfect. Nice.
Smoke there.
Okay.
Look out, Ares. There's a new Dorado.
Enemy
My God. Okay. Yeah, this one definitely have to be careful. Okay. So here, like, the queen pings it for you, so you know she's behind the fountain, right? So walking right into the sightline is like really, really dangerous because she could be like hard holding that angle. And then when you see her looking directly at you, you definitely want to break LOS, right? So this right here, as we're walking straight at her in a perfect straight line, this is super, super dangerous.
Oh, she was looking at me. I thought.
Yeah.
I started shooting at her because I thought she was looking at my teammate next to her.
Oh, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah. So typically speaking, when a tank is on the Widow will oftentimes not even look at the tank because she can't kill her anyway. You know what I mean? So she'll like peek a little bit longer to Squishy to try to trade. You know what I mean? It's a pretty common like. But yeah.
I never even thought about that.
But I really like this part here where you're like playing around the Widow silence here. Like, you know she's off to the left, so you're using this piece of cover to block and get damage in on the SIG. This is really good. Exactly.
Yeah, I was just trying to get as much. I was trying to get as much value out of like that situation as I could before she would like peek me and try to kill me or something.
No, yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. But and so this is good, right? But doing that from this position would be even better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm kind of like cornered there.
Yeah. Why is and more importantly, like, how much more of the map can you see and therefore control from here?
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah. There we go. This makes me nervous. That one gave me anxiety. Like, oh my God.
It did me too. Like looking back.
Yeah, absolutely. And then look, we find the short range off angle, right? This is considered an off angle because our queen's attracting the most attention, right? We should find the short range off angle, and we contribute with the dynamite. And it doesn't even matter if we die here, right? Our queen will definitely be able to get these kills.
Double.
Oh, even this is considered an off angle?
Yeah, absolutely, right? So the definition of main and off angle is like very loose. Main angle is basically just whatever angle the enemy team is paying attention to more. So here we see Widow and Ana like both hard staring at the queen, right? So this dynamite is from a short range off angle, right? And it's perfect. And you guys are like 180 pinching them, right? Yeah.
Dynamite out.
Whether or not you meant to, perfectly timed, perfectly
Come
perfect.
on. Get over
The
here.
payload has reached
Nice.
the checkpoint.
So now let's talk about downtime, right? Because we did kind of identify that as like you identified it as a problem in this particular VOD, right? So to minimize downtime, right? As soon as we cap point, because there's a lot of time, you have to wait for this gate to come down, and then the cart will like pause for a second, and then it'll start moving, right? So a lot of downtime is about to happen. What can we do with this downtime to better set up for the next fight?
Maybe go on the other side of the wall and start looking around for the Widow.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, you just killed Widow, so you know she's in spawn for a while. So you know,
Oh, right.
like there's no Widow, there's no Ana for the next, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds.
So maybe just looking for where the enemy team is in general.
Yeah,
On the
exactly.
the other side of the wall.
Exactly. So what I would like to see, I mean, obviously you may not know this ahead of time, but looking at it from a third's eye point of view, right? I would like to see you rotate through here, either come up here to start contesting this high ground, right? Or you can even come up here, coach gun up top here, and then start contesting, like if the Widow and the Ana start, coming back from spawn this way, you can start contesting that, right? Either one I think is fine for now. This one is probably more relevant because, your team can follow up on it a little bit better, but either one is fine. I just want you to pick one, you know what I mean? What I don't want to see is just like a lot of downtime. You're just sitting here waiting, dawdling, and then when the card starts to move, oh, now we go. You know what I mean? That's what I don't want to see. Okay. So. Oh, good. We do start moving. It's a little bit slower.
Maybe a little too late. Yeah.
I wouldn't even necessarily consider it too late. It's just too hesitant, right? There's nothing stopping you from taking this angle, right? There's nothing stopping you from taking this angle. So just don't wait. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and start doing it.
I think at that moment specifically, like I was still afraid of the Widow being around, but I think I should have realized that since my queen was out there and she wasn't shooting at her, that it was fine.
Yeah, fair enough. But also again, like you did just kill the Widow with your queen, so realize that. And then the other thing you can do is you can actually press tab to see when people respawn. There's like a little like indicator for it. Like there's like a countdown almost, right? There's like a timer on it when you.
I completely forgot.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like a small trick. But to be honest, like you don't really need that unless you're like really trying to time exactly when people spawn, which you don't really need. Basic idea is that Widow's not going to be around for like a good 15, 20 seconds. You know what I mean? Because she has to spawn, which takes 10 seconds, and then she has to. Or actually, I guess it's like what 12 seconds now. Anyway, yeah, 10 to 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And then she has to like walk out of spawn and all that kind of stuff before she can actually start influencing you. So you have a lot of time here to take whatever space you want. Okay.
Gotcha.
Come on, let's go.
Nice. Good shots. It does. I will also note. I'll commend you for this. It does look like you're more comfortable with shooting more rapidly now, and I think that's just because of all the extra practice you've been getting.
Yeah. Like I used to just halt on a lot of my shots.
Say again?
I used to just halt on a lot of my shots and just not really go at it.
Yep. And it looks like you're just more comfortable with shooting. Like, and it's not a big deal to miss. The point is like you just want to output that pressure, right?
Tango inside.
And then here, like, see, once our queen is actually in, right? So she's like exerting a lot of pressure here. So where would we like to be to kind of contribute to that?
I think being on top of that balcony would be good to like shoot at him from above and hold their attention.
Even if you're just on these stairs, if you just throw dynamite on like over the shield here, yeah, you can shoot it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Another option is even from here, right? I mean, obviously, like we can't get there now, but just in hindsight, we can dynamite from here.
Yeah, it's like a decent idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try that next time.
Good. So nice. I do like we are eventually taking angle, which is great. Now we hear the Widow shot, so we know she's somewhere to our right, right? So peeking anywhere past this corner is going to be inherently a little dangerous. Good. I like that you're clearing it. So, this is good. So now that we have cleared it and we hear another shot, we know that she's in front of us but below us because she can't be, like, on our plane. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we know generally speaking that she has to be below us somewhere in this general area, right? So what does that tell us that we can do?
At this point, maybe I can start like, dynamiting them from above or
yeah, exactly.
Shooting
Dynamite
at
them from above, and then honestly, something even like more oppressive that you could do is walking to here, so that if she tries to grapple up, she's grappling into a short range. If we try to stay here and dynamite from here, if she grapples up, she'll grapple into a long range. Does that make sense?
Man, I wish I thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is why. I'm not expecting you to think about this kind of stuff, right? But yeah, that's the
this is
idea.
why I like coming back to these replays.
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea. You just want to like dominate the high ground, and you're dominating less of the high ground by staying here, but still, like either way, dynamiting from above is definitely like the play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this would have been meaty as hell.
Cool. And so here again, like as a DPS, you need to, as a squishy really, you need to really pay attention to these grapple sounds. So right here, right? Let's see if we can hear it.
Yeah, I don't think I recognized it. My mental state gets way too high.
That's okay. That's okay. But it's important to like identify it now so you can start recognizing it in the future, right? So right here.
Yeah, I heard it.
Outfought.
So then when this happens, right? Luckily she misses us, but she lands right on top of us. What do you think like the best course of action would be to do here?
Just start shooting at her. I mean, we're like closer.
Exactly.
And she just shot a shot, so it's going to take a while for her to charge it back up.
Exactly, perfect. She made the mistake of like landing next to us, so the punish is to just start shooting at her, right? And do you think we should shoot at her with unscoped or scoped?
I'd honestly use dynamite, but maybe that'd take too long.
Honestly, yeah, it is a little slow, but I don't hate it, I guess. But let's say if you were to choose between scoped and unscoped, what would you do here?
Unscoped.
Why?
It would just take less time, and I could just start going at it.
Yep, absolutely.
At least like try to pressure her away a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to note that actually, if you hit all your shots, unscoped has a faster damage per second. Actually,
Yeah.
let me think about that. Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. But it has like
Yeah,
greater
that
drop
makes
off and
sense.
all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Everybody come
Isn't
on
it like
down.
also slightly inaccurate or something? Like the shots kind of go all over the place a little bit. Not all over the place.
No,
but...
not for Ashe.
Oh,
I
okay.
think you're thinking about like Cass's Fan the Hammer maybe, but
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, that has some spread, but not Ashe's. And then even once we drop here, right? It's okay to be like, oh, I maybe I shouldn't have dropped. I should have just started shooting. That's okay. Even if we do drop, what can we do next?
Honestly, looking at it now, like if I would have seen her up there, I probably would have coached my ass right back up there and started going
Nice.
at her again.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Right. We just coach that. But even this is like, I like that you're going again for this off angle. This is good. I don't like
the range.
so, right here, right? I don't like that the first thing we see when we clear the off, when we start opening the angle, is Zen, right? So that's the first thing we honestly should be shooting at. Because by the time we get here,
Oof.
right? Yes, we see more targets and it's a juicier dynamite, but if the Zen starts shooting at us, it's going to take us a longer time to get back into cover. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So as you come
That,
around,
and I think I just.
Go ahead.
I think I'm just falling into the shoot the tank habit too right here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Team kill.
Warriors mark high ready to overclock.
Clear.
Opening.
You're six.
I don't know why I did
I
that.
like that you're using active cover to cross over. That's nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about what to do in a situation like this, right? So you have kill feed enabled, correct, on your game?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, like the sounds and stuff.
Yeah. Well, not just the sounds. I mean, like literally seeing the kill feed in the top right.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. That used to actually not be default, believe it or not, like way back when Overwatch.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, so we know that our team is like already down, so we can't really make any big pushes or big plays here, right? Because it's going to be like a 1v5 essentially. So what can we do from this nice little angle that we have here?
Just start shooting, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Just start shooting, pop a dynamite, right? We're just poking for all charge. And the key factor is that you don't want to go too far because, again, if they decide to push you, then using your newfound practice of when to kite, then you know like exactly when to kite back here, right?
Yeah, because I'm already at like a decent range to where I'd be able to kind of kite back through cover.
Yeah, exactly.
It's go time.
This is when it starts to get a little bit dangerous. The nice thing. Just like give it to you. Oh my god, run!
Yeah, I noticed my team wasn't around because I didn't know it the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I'm gonna reset or something.
Enemy here.
Halo.
Hostile spotted. Tango in sight. Enemy here. Dodge this. Tango in sight.
I got you.
Get active on an angle.
Let the kitsune guide you.
So still a lot of inaction, right? A lot of hesitancy, a lot of like just being very, very far from the fight, right? So this is like, yes, this range is like might be nice against Zen, but it's like so far that you're like not able to see much and not able to do much damage.
I have eyes on a sniper.
I just need to take more risk. I'm not proactive enough.
Well,
I'm too passive.
Yeah, again, I like the word proactive. I don't necessarily like more risk, right? Because that's not necessarily better, but it is like more proactivity doesn't mean more risk necessarily, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I like. Yes, I agree with you. You need to be more proactive. More risk, I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Queen. Over there.
Understood.
Yeah, perfect. So we know where Widow is, right? What can we do to try to start closing distance?
I don't know. I don't really come back here that much, so I don't really know what paths lead to where.
Okay, well, just give me your first gut instinct. Don't overcomplicate it. Let's not think about map pathing and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just give me like one idea. I don't care if it's wrong. I don't care if it's stupid. You know what I mean? Just give me one idea.
Maybe like back up to that house that's like towards the bottom. Maybe I can like look around that fence a
Like
little
this
bit.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the idea is like, well, the question was like, how can we start closing distance if we know where Widow is?
Oh, close it. My bad. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Maybe just run around the fence and kind of stay hidden. Since I mean, I don't think she could really see me if she's hiding around that corner. So maybe I could like sneak around, hugging this gate here
This thing here
on the right side. Yeah, like on the right side.
on this side.
No, on like the outside of the first gate you highlighted.
Oh, gotcha.
Like on the other side.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
then
Yeah.
like
So you're saying like come
Yeah.
here and then hug, like come around this.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then let's say once we get to here, what do we want to do?
coach up.
We can coach up. Yeah. The other thing is maybe we could even like walk to here to coach up. You know what I mean? Like the idea is she doesn't have a lot of support right now, and so she like if someone starts to push her, then she's going to be very very pressured, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say hypothetically, right, as we're walking up here, we notice our soldier's running up too, right? What can we do to essentially like maximize our chances of surviving and killing the Widow when we coach up?
Maybe using dynamite before I leave. At least.
Yeah, sure. You could dynamite first, absolutely, yeah. But I was like kind of I mean that's definitely true. That's actually a really good idea. But I was talking about like more so with your soldier, right? If once you get here, you notice your soldiers running up the staircase.
Oh, my soldier. I think you meant their soldier.
Mhm.
I guess they don't have. Yeah, they do have one. Wait, my soldier.
Or I guess who is this?
Oh wait, I'm.
Sojourn maybe.
Oh okay, yeah, my
Sorry,
bad.
I just look like soldier.
No, you're good.
Or is it your Lucio? Honestly, it doesn't matter. It could be Lucio, it could be soldier, it
Yeah,
could be Sojourn.
yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I got you.
What can we do once we get here?
So they'd be coming up behind her right there, right?
Mm-hmm. Like coming up through the
Okay,
staircase.
Honestly, like you pointing out the path that you mentioned is honestly kind of a decent idea because like when you coach up, you're actually to the side of her, so it'd be kind of not only sandwiching her but also taking her attention, so that by the
Yeah.
time they got up there, then they'd have to turn around. And,
Yeah, perfect.
so maybe just trying to sandwich her, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that. I like that you even said by the time they get up there, right? So what I was kind of getting at is,
Mhm.
yeah, like I don't really care if you go from here or here. It doesn't really matter. But the idea is that you want to really maximize your chances if you want to play it safe, right?
Yeah.
Then yeah, you time your coach, your time your engage for when the soldier or whoever it is that gets here, so that you're shooting it at the same time. You know what I mean? And so that's like a good example of more proactivity but less risk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just not doing nothing all the time.
Yeah. Basically.
I guess doing nothing isn't necessarily a bad thing sometimes, but in this
Well,
instance,
that's true
it
too.
definitely is.
Enemy here.
Here, take some.
Thanks.
All right, so what was your list? Good. Perfect. Nice job. Really nice.
All right, here I had kind of a light bulb moment, but it was like after I get killed. You'll see it, but
Okay.
Over there.
I'll
Area denied.
try to explain my thought process, I guess.
Yeah, I like again. You're shortening the distance. I think this is pretty good. Give me 1 second here. Oh, interesting highlighter. I never knew.
I really do like that they added that sign for cover up there across from me.
Yeah.
I remember like every time I would use that side, I was just like constantly freaking out because there was no cover anywhere. Yeah.
Numbered.
Okay.
Get on over here.
So talk to me about what's going through your head here, right?
I think at first I wanted to try to like take this angle up here, but then I started hearing like a lot of my team just get knocked out essentially, so I kind of freaked out.
Oh, okay. So like you just thought the fight was over. So
Oh, I guess I did. Yeah, I thought maybe more of them were gone than there actually were.
I see. Fair enough. Okay. So
It was definitely an early hop off though.
Gotcha. Yeah, so what I am noticing is that a lot of the information gathering phase is being like left by the wayside a little bit, and so that's causing you to maybe have like a mistaken impression of like of your team's like status during the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I will say is like again, you did a great job of like taking a strong position before the fight, right? Now you're here, right? Like this is a sick angle for dynamite, all this kind of stuff, right? But once we get there, sometimes the downtime is really high because we're kind of doing this thing where we're just like walking around and kind of like waiting and deciding what to do, right? And then B, it's like your decision making is going to be inherently less accurate if you have less information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to pay attention to.
Man, looking at it now, like even if they were all gone, I don't know why I didn't stay on the high ground and just kite anyways. It
I mean,
if they're
all gone, you're probably dead regardless, so no big deal. But
yeah, I guess so.
Even if your tank dies here, if you're still up here, you can make a disgusting play with dynamite plus Bob here. You know what I mean? And it's potential that it's possible that you guys just cap just based off that play alone.
I've got you.
Yeah, this soldier. Yeah, he was after my ass the whole time.
Seems a little unnecessary.
Yeah, I was gonna say even during this, I was kind of thinking to myself like, man, was that like worth it?
I mean, from a ult point of view, definitely not.
Yeah.
60 seconds.
Okay, nice. So this is coming up on last fight, right? And your whole team is like looking, like you can see this through the wall. They're looking to come down this left side, right? So what can we do? What's our strong position, do you think?
Try to go back up on that high ground again, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So this introduces a different angle, right? Obviously, Widow's a bit of a problem from that range, but once we get here, we can close distance using these windows, right? And then the other option is you can actually even come up to here, right?
No, I never even thought about that. I don't think I saw the window back there. That's cool though. I'll have to try that.
Oh, like this door, you're saying?
Yeah, the door that you just pointed out last.
Gotcha,
I'll have to try that next time.
This is also new too. I haven't actually seen this.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this specific doorway right here. This is new.
Oh, it's cool.
Oh, this is actually insane. What the heck? I didn't realize.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This actually makes
is that considered a flank
so
route?
much. Yeah, for sure. This actually makes it so much easier for like Tracer and Cass sometimes.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Wow. Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely come up through here, right? And you can coach gun, you can throw Bob, right? Like you can dynamite, all this kind of stuff, right?
Personne n'échappe.
Oh shit!
Do something!
Helden sterben nicht.
Into the iris.
Dang it,
So I
Bob!
understand the urgency, but now let's talk a little bit about just angles in general, right? So why, like from this angle, right? Why doesn't Bob seem that effective?
So all their attention is focusing there, so they'll be able to take him out easier.
No, well, not that.
Or well, I guess it's more so the fact that like he's not pulling attention from a different angle, so it's all on main right now.
There we go. That's definitely more of it, right? That's definitely true. But just think about in terms of like where the enemy is. What can Bob really see from here? He can see Sig and he can see Soldier, but that's about it, right? So what I mean is that like there's a lot of cover to put between you and Bob if you wanted to, right? So there's this car, there's this wall, right? And then if you're up here, you can just use this thing. You might even be able to just back up. Yeah, exactly. You can just back up to here, right?
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of cover from that angle. So that's why, and like you said, that's the main angle right now too. So they're already cognizant of that angle to begin with. So this Bob here, like, is pretty much
Bob, do
guaranteed
something!
to not
That's
get
pretty bad.
much, right?
She's gonna blow!
But I like you trying to combo dynamite with Bob. That's really good.
Not really sure what I was thinking. I think I was just panicking and trying to like make something happen and help the team out,
I mean,
but it was just too hasty.
And then whether or not you really meant to, you did kind of force trance. So that's
Dang it, Bob!
No, definitely not. Okay, here.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
okay.
Close, so close.
This
Yeah, I mean, you
specific
did well.
situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so here was like I was just trying to pull her attention away a little bit.
Yeah.
And then literally right after I like sat there and thought about it, like what could I have done better? And then I kind of had the idea that like maybe instead of sticking there the whole time to try to kill her, maybe I could like get a couple shots off and kind of pull her attention, and then escape to try to like not get killed myself. And it was just kind of like I wasn't sure if it was like a good idea or not, but it was just something I thought about.
Yeah. So I don't hate the thought of that. The real problem here is because I think that you could have killed her, right? The real problem here is we don't, again, like we're entering these new lines of sight without checking to see if the widow's there, right? So once we're here, like our crosshair should already be on the widow's head at this point, right? But we're like slow to react to the fact that the widow is there, and then she notices you sooner after you notice her. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So there's the amount of time where you would have a free shot is reduced because you're not looking for it already. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one. Two is if we're already up here, again, the idea is we want to close distance, right? So if we start shooting from here, right, our shot's are going to do more damage. I'm pretty sure we kill her, right? Like, so one headshot, one body shot, right? Instead of from here, but from here would kill her. Make sense? Okay. Yeah, and then the rest of this is just like relatively unfortunate because like she just does hit a good shot, but yeah, like you like outside of that, yeah, this was like pretty well played. I don't think you need like any tricks with like peek and then unpeek to take attention. Nah, you mean because like if you just started the engagement cleaner, then you just would have killed her outright. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what about moments where I just can't kill her? Like, would it be best to then maybe just kind of peek her and try to pressure a little bit, and then maybe hide behind cover, or just try to kill her?
Well, I guess that's contextual, right? Like, so why can't you kill her in those specific moments? Is it that you're too far, or is it that you know you can't see her? You know what I mean? Like, what's the reasoning?
Yeah. My aim definitely sucks, but I don't think that's the whole picture.
No,
I guess
I'm asking like you're saying you're setting up the situation where you're like, what about in situations where I can't kill her, and I'm asking you like, what's the reason why you can't kill her?
Well, I mean, in this situation, I could, but like,
yeah, I'm saying in your hypothetical, like, what's your reasoning that you can't kill her?
I guess if she was just at like full, and I'm just missing shots, like maybe I don't know. I guess my thought process was maybe getting off maybe one or two, and then I don't know. I think I'm overcomplicating it.
No. I mean, I'm just asking like you're the one setting up the scenario. You know what I mean? Like you have full control in this hypothetical scenario, right? Like you're God. You're saying I can't kill her, so is it worth taking her attention and then unpeaking her to draw attention away, right? But I'm asking you, in this hypothetical scenario that you're creating, what is the reason you can't kill her?
I guess it'd be situational, like you said.
Right. But I'm asking you, like, if you're the one creating this.
Well, I don't
scenario,
know.
right?
I don't know. I can't really think of any more.
So let's like I don't know. Let's just use a couple different examples, right? So first is like if you're really far away. This is like an example of that, but like less extreme, right? Less extreme, excuse me. But yeah, so let's say you're really far away and you can't kill her, right? Because like your drop off is just too severe. What I would say is it's not even worth shooting at the widow then. You know what I mean? Because like every time you look to peek her, you're like risking death. You know what I mean? So just shoot at somebody else, okay? If you can't peek her because she's in cover, right? But you're not too far. So let's say for example, she's like right next to the sign, and you shoot her like here, but then she unpeaks you, and now you can't kill her. Then yeah, you did your job. You pressured her off the angle. Now shoot somebody else. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So there's like really like only two reasons maybe why you wouldn't be able to kill a widow is either if she's like too far or she's like playing cover, right? If she's getting like for some reason like a full like pocket, for example, so she's not playing cover and she's not too far, but like you numerically cannot kill her because of like, you know, she's getting out healed, then yeah, it's not worth picking, right? Because it's the same thing as if she's invincible. Does that make sense? So let's say, for example, for some reason, I don't know, she's like nanoed or something and getting healed by Mercy, right? Yeah, I would say just like, you know, don't peek her, like shoot dynamite on the ground, you know what I mean? Like do something else. Does that make sense? Any questions about that?
No.
Okay.
Amp up this beat.
10 seconds remaining.
Better be a good excuse for this holdup.
Get the payload moving.
Yeah, I thought
No, it's alright.
I wasn't sure what I was doing there. I think
Yeah,
I think I thought that there was like a door there, but
Attackers incoming.
even if there were, like it doesn't.
That we should fail. Stop
Yeah.
the payload. There's no feedback. Check your head.
Okay, so right? Now we're in a scenario where we know they have a widow, right? So, and we're playing like one of the longest possible angles, right? From where she would peek from. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And where do you think she would peek from?
Probably like the very end down there.
Yeah, there's like position here, from here. If she uses elevator, she can peek up here, right? All this kind of stuff. But all three of these are going to be like not super advantageous for you, right? So where can we better position ourselves? Where can we better position ourselves to kind of like close that distance and play a little bit more towards our ideal range?
I think I actually did, like right after this, end up going towards the left, like pathing down that way, because I just realized that I didn't have good line of sight, so I moved.
So here's one option. Here's another option. Once you like start to get more towards the side, you have to be careful of this line of sight because that's a very long one, right? But even starting on this roof, right, is not so bad. You start on the roof, right? You're already on the short range off angle, and then if everyone takes elevator, I mean, again, you kind of have to listen for it, right? But then you start kiting back, and then you shotgun yourself back up here. Make sense?
Mm.
Be nourished.
Good. Nice. And then once we start to peek here, we have to be careful, right? We have to clear the angles first.
They got us outnumbered.
Nice, good dodge.
Yeah, I saw her.
Or something more.
Oh, we can just throw dynamite. Just throw dynamite. Bummer.
Somebody get me some healing. Thanks.
Now you're just messing with her.
Thanks.
Nice.
You owe me one.
I've been getting a little bit better at hitting those
Try,
dynamites from farther ranges and stuff.
It definitely looks like you're more comfortable navigating the first-person shooter and like just the aim in general, right? That's really cool.
Yeah, I tried the things that you taught me last time with the dynamite thing, where you could like aim downwards and just time it.
Yeah.
It helped a lot.
Good.
Because before I would just track it and it made it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Right here, I was kiting because I noticed that they were getting closer, so I was trying to like
Absolutely. Good.
keep a range and use cover. So I was kind of like proud of myself at like that specific scenario.
Okay, well, this like
payload has
obviously
reached
nice
the
job
checkpoint.
dodging and all this kind of stuff, but this is like a scenario where we would want to move and shoot, right? So as soldier comes across this angle, we can keep moving, but we want to shoot him to make him shooting us harder. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I was just afraid of just getting killed like by the time I was able to do much.
Yeah, so even if you die right here, it's not a big deal because A, you have teammates spawning, and B, like, again, there's going to be a lot of time before this cart can start moving again anyway. Like, they're going to cap for sure here, no matter what, right? You can't stop it. So if you die right now, it's, like, not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
here,
guess
you
I
want
just
to
wasn't
move and
thinking
shoot,
about
move and shoot.
Mm.
Make sense?
Mm.
Oh, nice
The
stuff.
payload has reached the checkpoint.
I'm hurt over here.
I think he was just after me after this.
Yeah, so let's talk about
hurt.
that, right? Once we are around the corner, well, first, like, because we're around the corner, we physically cannot take damage, so not worth it to use coach gun here, right? It doesn't, like, really give us anything. But if we, let's say, for example, we don't have coach gun, and we're, like, on this corner, and we hear the soldier running up, what can we do as we hear the soldier running up?
Maybe I could drop off at that point, or I guess I did, but
Well, let's say you have all your cooldowns, because you didn't use coach, right? You're just on the corner.
maybe coach him off.
Yeah, exactly. Just coach him off, and then it not only boops you back, but it boops him back as well, right? So now, like, he's not going to be able to kill you, right? And then the other thing is, right, even before he gets to the corner where we can see him, as long as we hear him coming up the stairs, we can preemptively throw dynamite to make him, like, scared of even walking up here in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm hurt over here.
Because now the downside of doing something like this is what?
Just a bunch of downtime now.
Oh, a bunch of downtime, and what does the enemy have?
High ground.
Yeah.
Get the sniper!
God damn it. Yeah, this is why I sent this match, because I felt like this was a prime example of just me being scared the whole time. I just wasn't.
Now it looks like it.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like I think the bigger issue is just a lot of inaction because we don't know, like we're afraid of what we don't know. You know what I mean? And so the only
I just didn't.
Go ahead.
A lot of the time, this match, I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, is it that you don't know what to do, or you don't know where they are, so you don't know what to do? You know what I mean?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really remember.
Fair.
It's hard to.
Yeah. Hard to say. Let's continue kicking it.
Honestly, it might just be the info thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think so.
You can really see it.
Like, I think you conceptually know that you have to close distance, right? So for example, right, like coming to this angle right here is really strong because nothing can shoot you, right? And you're on short range with the Widow. Does that make sense? Now, obviously, maybe don't do it when she has walls, but before, after, before, it's a perfect time to do it.
I definitely want to practice being more aware of where my team is and where the enemy team is. Okay. I just do that.
Yeah. The only way to start building that awareness is basically guessing based off audio cues and then checking with visual cues to make sure you're right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got to use the audio ones more. I think I over rely on the visual ones too much. Which makes sense because I don't see anything and I freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, see here, just a lot of downtime, right? Like you are achieving the same thing as if you were in spawn this whole time. You know what I mean?
Careful, we're outnumbered.
And then not only that, but I think we're so maybe frazzled is the best word, but we're so frazzled that we're once again achieving the opposite of what we want to do, right? We're increasing the amount of distance between us and Widow, right?
Yeah.
That we should fail.
Bruh, again.
Yeah, but notice how we're isolating ourselves? This is not good.
Yeah. I just didn't know what to do. I heard his ult and I was just I'm just gonna run.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Oh, so close to dodging too.
Is approaching its destination.
Yeah, and then the unfortunate thing is if we had less downtime, this whole second point defense, this 10% missing an ult charge would definitely be 100. It would not be there. You know what I mean? We'd have ult, right? And then we have ult for the recontest, which makes the likelihood of the recontest working so much stronger, right?
I just want to get better at this. This is something that plagues me in so many things. It's not even just this game.
Well, what do you mean when we say this?
Just the over passiveness and just playing without a lack of conviction at all. I'm just too fucking scared. There's no confidence. It feels like, or at least not as much.
Yeah.
It's something I've been trying to work on a lot, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at it each time. But it's just I struggle with it a lot.
So do you think it's a confidence thing, or do you think it's or is it and this is, I can't answer this for you. This is something you have to tell me. Is it a confidence issue, or do you think it's a fear of the unknown issue, where you don't know where they are, so you're afraid to peek?
I think that sounds a little bit more accurate, because I've noticed in other games when I don't know something, I'll just lock up and be passive so I can learn about it. And I think that might have bled over to other things.
Okay.
And because I know I've had the advice to well, if you don't know about something, just go for it. Go balls to the walls. And it I don't know. I guess I struggled to try to implement that as much. So instead, I would do the opposite so that I could just sit and watch and then learn. But then I realized that I can't really do that. And I got to do stuff, because if I don't make mistakes, I'm not going to learn. And not doing any.
True. Yeah. But what I was going to say
I think that kind of
what I was going to say is, if it's a confidence issue in and of itself, right, then I agree with that approach. You kind of just have to rip the Band-Aid off. You have to die over and over again, make mistakes over and over again, so you learn from them, right? But if it's a fear of the unknown issue, then I think it's like a little bit different, right? The approach could then just be to, okay, what are some like minimal risk ways to gain more information so we know where they are. You know what I mean? So what do you think it is?
It might be that the fear of the unknown thing, because that honestly sounds more accurate to the other like aspects that like or those things that like plague me, like the other games and just other things that it plagues me on. Like that's kind of a similar concept as to why it troubles me.
Okay. So we'll definitely put this as number one in our big takeaway once we get there. But yeah, it's good to know. It's good to like identify the problem in this way, accurately, so we can actually start doing something about it.
Smoke them out of there. Bob, do something.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is just because we're so scared to
Do something.
have more than this tiny sliver that we can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm scared of the Widow right now. This whole match, I was so scared of this fucking Widow.
We must
So let's talk about ways to like, track where people.
Okay.
So one thing, actually, before we do that, I want you to compliment yourself. What's one thing you did well?
Still the same. Well, the same's not bad, but still like being able to find those positions before a fight starts. But I don't know. Other than that, I don't think I did things very well this match, but that's why I sent it.
Well, like we said before, I really think we saw, honestly, like really great strides in how comfortable you are just moving and shooting and like navigating a first-person shooter, right? And a lot of that has to do with the kite practice you've been doing and the deathmatch practice you've been doing, right? So really saw some great improvement in that aspect.
I have been playing like other shooters as well, which has kind of helped in Overwatch as well. Like I've been playing a lot of Valorant recently, so
yeah. Well, Valorant's a little different because in Valorant you're supposed to play like really tight to corners and scared and
yeah. Well, like I guess I meant more like mechanic wise, it's helped a lot because you have to be a lot more like precise about things. So when I go back to Overwatch, I'm like I feel like I have a little bit more of like a comfortable feeling with things. I guess I know it's still different, but
yeah, like a little more leeway.
Yeah.
Okay. And
there were some
insights. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say there were like a couple instances at least which I noticed I was getting better at like kiting when it wasn't a bad time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Though I just
no, I think those areas of improvement are actually really important. They're actually really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about your big takeaways. Okay. What do you think is big takeaway number one for you?
Try to like scout the whole, or not the whole map, but try to scout the area to try to figure out like where enemies are and where my team is.
Yeah. So
feels like a huge one.
So let's just title it, right? Let's just call it Fear of the Unknown. Okay. And that's like one of the most human fears to have. So don't punch yourself for having it. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. Yeah. So Fear of the Unknown, right? How can we address this fear of the unknown? And like what you said, you need to scout. Okay. But what does scouting mean? Scout for information. Okay. What's step one in scouting? What's like the easiest, most accessible form of scouting?
Just looking around, I guess.
Even before you look around, because looking around like requires active input on your part, right? Like you have to move your mouse and all this kind of stuff.
Maybe I could find like decent high grounds where I could see a lot more.
Again, that requires active input, right?
I guess I'm kind of lost and I don't know what you mean.
So, what kind of information comes to you passively without you even having to do anything? Hands off mouse, hands
sound.
off keyboard. Yeah, there we go. Perfect, right? So, all right, use your ears, right? Listen for audio cues.
Okay.
So, in this example, right, you want to listen for Widow's heels, right? The footstep sounds, right? The grapple sound effect, right? Widow's loud ass shots, right? Okay. What other important sound cues do you think are important to listen to? Apart from Widow's.
Just in general.
Yeah, in general.
like
Stuff
voice
like-
lines.
Yeah,
Um,
voice lines. Yeah.
I think
What voice lines in Overwatch are like really loud and clear?
ults.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. So ultimate voice lines, right?
Some abilities like Sigma Rock you can hear pretty well, where he's just like,
Yeah. Specific, say specific cooldown sound effects, right?
yeah.
Okay, good. And then okay, so that's I mean, like honestly, that's probably enough for now for sound effects. There's like a couple other things, but it's not super important, right? Those are like the
Yeah.
important things, right? So if you use your ears, that will generally tell you what direction stuff is happening in, right? And then like the widow shots and the grapple sound effects, those are more specific, where you can like kind of more easily pinpoint like where they are without even seeing it, right? Okay. Now we've talked about audio. What do you think? Now let's talk about visual, right? Without even looking at where the enemies are, what are some things that we can look at to give us information?
Oh gosh.
I mean, I guarantee you do this without even thinking about it, but like you do it. It's important to like be more aware of it
Without looking at anything?
without looking at your enemies. What are some visual cues?
Oh, like the highlights of my allies and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
That's something I do a lot.
Wall hacks on teammates, right?
Mm.
What else?
Mm.
How about the position of the cart?
Can you see the card through the walls?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
In fact,
I
you
guess
can
I
see
completely forgot about that.
It's in fact like on default, it's actually probably the setting if you're seeing it is actually too high, so it might be. Is it under? Where is it? Details. There we go. HUD. Okay, so waypoint opacity. It's like on default. I think it's like 100 or something like that. Like it's
Oh,
actually
gosh.
way too high because it covers like people can hide behind it without meaning to.
Oh.
Because it like covers the like what you can actually see. So I turned it down to
Yeah.
20, right? Then I turned respawn icon to 50. Okay. That's just my personal preference. It's up to you. But yeah, the idea is like you can for sure see the position of the cart, through walls and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to turn that down.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's up to you. Well, like the problem is like if it's not obvious enough right now, maybe you don't want to turn it down. But it's up to you. You know what I mean?
I think I just wasn't paying attention.
Gotcha. Okay. And why is position of the cart important? Like, what does the position of the cart tell us? Like, what kind of information?
They're going to want to try to. The enemy's just going to want to get to it. So maybe I could like see where it is and then figure out a general area that
Yeah.
they might be like surrounding it.
Yep, 100%. It tells you. It basically just tells you what general area is relevant in the map right now, right? So
Mhm.
both our wall hacks on teammates and position of the cart alone is going to tell us, generally speaking, where the fight is. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then what's one more thing without looking at the enemies themselves that can give us information?
The kill feed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, kill feed. I didn't even think about that. My God, kill feed. Yeah. One other thing.
Dang.
So
I don't know. I've run out of ideas.
Yeah, sorry. So think about for the audio cues, right? What were some of those audio cues that we talked about, like Widow specific?
Just like general sound effects, like alt sound effects.
Before we talk
Oh,
about
Widow
ults.
specific.
Yeah, Widow specific stuff. What did we talk about?
Her footsteps, the grappling
Mhm.
hook,
And then
shots.
Yeah, the shots, right? So we can hear the shots. Can we see shots without seeing Widow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So all the like weapon tracers, right? And actually, every single hero in the game has their own unique weapon tracer. Okay. Oftentimes, like they're like the difference between the two are like very very small, right? Like for example, like soldier and like tracer. I don't know. Like the difference is like pretty slim. You can kind of see it based on like the spread of the tracer itself, but that in conjunction with audio, right, is going to tell you where enemies are before you even see them, right?
Yeah.
So we'll write weapon tracers. Okay. That's not confusing, right? Because there's a tracer in the game. Okay, I'm gonna assume you're like okay with that.
I didn't realize you were asking. I thought you were just kind of being sarcastic or
No,
something.
no. Like I'm asking you, like, is that confusing? Should I change the name from tracers to something
Oh
else?
no, it's fine. Like
Okay.
tracers is fine. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Good. Okay, yeah. So all this stuff, right, can give you a lot of information before you even look at the enemies, right? And then of course the final thing is looking at enemies, right? So how can we look at the enemies? And this is like, again, obviously the final piece of the puzzle, so it's going to tell you more precisely where they are, right? What can we do to look at enemies while minimizing risk, right? Because the idea is that you're scared to look at them. So let's try to baby step our way in and figure out ways to do it while being safe. You know what I mean?
Okay. Maybe not just swinging out a lot of the time like I have been. Like maybe jiggle picking, like checking each corner as I go. Like
Nice.
there was something in. I know it's a different game, but in Valorant they talk about what you talked about. Kind of, they call it like slicing the pie, where you're like peeking, looking at a corner, getting back in cover, peeking again, looking at the next corner,
Yeah. I mean, that's an
and just like
interesting
slowly
term.
peeking.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just use that term. I'll just use slicing the pie.
Mm.
Slicing the pie. Yeah. So as you enter like new lines of sight, you need to clear each one, especially against like immediate threats like Widow. You also need to do it for stuff like Reaper and Junkrat if they're like holding a very close corner. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just like as an example here, I'll show you.
Was something even like a soldier be something I'd probably have to do it for too? So he feels like he just does a shit ton of damage from like most ranges.
Yeah, like you don't have to be as scared, obviously, right? It's not as scary as like a Widow, but
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, like it's important to
Ready
know where the
for
enemies are
battle.
for sure. Yeah. So hypothetically, right? Let's say you're attacking third point. If there's like a Reaper or Junkrat hiding in this corner, and you guys want to take high ground, you definitely need to clear this, right? So similarly,
Okay.
right? As you come around, let's say like you peek, okay, nobody's here, right? And then you peek, okay, nobody's here, and then we go. Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So we'll call it slicing the pie. Clear new lines of sight before swinging wide, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. So this is already a lot of things to do, but this is basically all under the big takeaway of addressing the fear of the unknown. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just trying to gather info as much as
Yeah.
I can.
Outside of gathering info, right? Because I think you can handle one more takeaway, because that's like, this is relatively, you do a lot of this stuff inherently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's good to give you one more. I think you can handle it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay. So what do you think your second biggest area of improvement, looking at all this, is?
Or what I guess I should ask before you give it to me. So I definitely have been getting better at like focusing on one thing at a time, but would these things be, I guess if I had more than one thing like you're gonna give me, would it be better to just kind of like jump back and forth between things like one match and maybe the next
Okay.
match I'll focus on this, or just consistently focus on the one thing?
So what I'll say is, it's up to you, right? Some people will jump back and forth because they don't want it to be monotonous in terms of like what they're working on. But if you feel like
Gotcha.
it is probably higher quality to keep working on it match after match, up to a certain
Yeah, that's
point,
honestly
you know what I mean?
that's all. Yeah, I don't really find it boring or monotonous. I think
Okay.
this is fun,
Yeah.
so I just
So yeah,
do
it's
one thing at a time. So.
good. Yeah. So perfect. It's completely up to you how you want to switch it up. But yeah, I would say one thing at a time per game. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, and if I ever do feel that coming on, I'll switch or something.
Yeah.
It's not a
Exactly.
big deal.
Yeah. Okay. Now what I think your second. Okay. So sorry. Go ahead. What do you think your second big takeaway would be?
Oh, I don't know. There's already a lot. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
So what I right now, like you're pretty comfortable again. Like your aim is actually honestly pretty good for bronze. Like it is actually like quite good. The aim is good. So I think once we get your uptime higher, you'll just naturally pump out more numbers and get more value, just from a baseline level, right? And so
Yeah.
we're obviously big takeaway number one is stressing like a large reason as to why the uptime is so low, right?
Mhm.
But in general, you just want to work on getting uptime higher, okay?
Yeah.
So what that means is, well, like obviously in hybrid on payload maps, no Symmetra swap. You know what I mean? Like I know it's nice that you're trying to help your team, but don't no need.
Yeah.
For that.
I
No
just figured
Symmetra
I'd
swap.
try it because I saw others do it, so I was like, I want to see how this works out. But
Fair
it
enough.
did not.
Fair enough. Yeah. And then here, like as you see all this stuff is popping off, right? And you're like, okay, I don't know where she is. I'm scared, right? It shouldn't like you are like we already kind of talked about where we're assuming she is, right? Even so, even if you don't see, for example, the tracer here, right, or the fact that your Curie died here, so you know that she has to be somewhere here. You know what I mean? Even if you don't use all these context clues, I want you to just start taking a position based off your assumption of like how of your experience so far. You know what I mean? An educated
Mhm.
assumption. Based off that, just start taking a position. You know what I mean? I just want your uptime to be lower. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in deathmatch, do you think it'd be good to just kind of keep doing the kiting thing, I guess, and then in matches focus on this instead?
Yeah. So the kiting thing is like, I mean, eventually you should start to realize that it's like becoming more second nature. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to think about it as
Yeah.
hard. So as you play
I think it
deathmatch,
kind of
you'll
is
just
already,
do
but
it.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. That's perfect. So as you play more deathmatch, you'll just do it inherently, and like you'll get better with your mechanics, all this kind of stuff. So absolutely, yeah, I think deathmatch practice is fine. Now, do I think that you need to practice specifically kiting and actively think about kiting as much? Probably not if it's already becoming more second nature. So now start focusing on like collecting information mid deathmatch, right? And in deathmatch, it's going to be a lot more chaotic because you don't have to worry about one team. You have to worry about I don't know whatever it is, like 7 or something like that. You have to worry about 7 other
Yeah.
people. So yeah, so it's going to be a lot more chaotic, but it'll be good practice for you to like listen to the audio cues, kind of figure out where everybody is, like look at the tracers, move around, move and shoot, move and shoot. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. If no information, or I'll say while you're gathering information, start moving and taking an angle based on instinct slash experience, right?
Yeah. That feels like one of the bigger takeaways, like trying to take that info that I've gathered and try to find a position based on that.
Yeah. Because what'll happen is eventually, like, you start to get so good at the first takeaway that you don't like it. It really will become second nature. Like a lot of this is just like reading the game, right? So as soon, like,
Mhm.
even in this singular picture, right? If I just saw this one frame, I know exactly where Widow is, right? Kiri just died. I see the tracer more. Like the tracer is honestly the biggest tell, right? Because like it just points a direct line. But even if I didn't see the tracer, Kiri just died, right? She's in your, you can see her body here, so you know that she must have been shot. Like bullets can't go through walls, right? So you know she must have been shot, from this general angle, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. And then like a lot of it, yeah, will become second nature, and then you won't even have to like think. You won't have to be like, oh, where's Widow? You'll just know. Okay. Increase uptime while gathering information. Start moving and taking an angle based on this experience. Okay, good. Any final questions? Any final thoughts before we head out of here?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. So what I'll do, as always, is I'll send you these notes. This one's a chunky one. It's thick. All right. And then from there, yeah, again, like continue to put in this practice. You're doing really well with like honestly like the rate of improvement is kind of what I'm getting at. This is honestly pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we. I'm excited to see your gameplay next. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's definitely been fun though. Like it's been hella hard, but I know that's like I've noticed myself getting kind of frustrated a lot of, well, not a lot, but here and there. But I guess that's a good thing, especially
Yeah.
when something's kind of like right above your weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And again, like it's okay to be frustrated. Don't punish yourself for feeling frustrated, but try to.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I've been getting better at like seeing it as a cue for like, oh, okay, I'm getting frustrated. That means I need to focus on this more.
Good.
That's kind of how I've been treating it more so.
Good. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you're used to the process. I usually give my like outro spiel about like expectations and all this kind of stuff, but I feel like you're used to the
Mhm.
process by now, and obviously, active member of the Discord, so you'll stay in touch with progress updates and all that kind of stuff, and questions. Yeah, and again, like don't be afraid to reach out with any questions or anything like that. Okay.
Yep, I will.
Alrighty. So let me stop the recording here.